Welcome back, everyone. And here we have the marvelous Socalled and Poopsie. We just finished watching the concert given by Socalled and his band. And we would like to now ask you, Socalled, a little bit about yourself and about the history of your band and so forth. So just go on and tell us everything.
Bring it on. What do you want to know? Come on. What do you want to know?
Tell us about your life.
Oh.
Okay, who are you? You're new to the scene in Toronto, I think,
yeah,
but you're very well known in Quebec.
Oh, huge,
and
huge.
you hail from Montreal.
I hail from there. Yes, that's where I'm hailing from.
And you've been together with this band for what, 15 years or more?
Well, you know, the band has sort of a rotating cast of characters, but the more I play and tour, the more set the players are. But Katie Moore, for instance, the lead singer of the band, I've been working with her for about 10 years probably, since my first album with Ghetto Blaster. But everybody kind of changes in and out. And now, this band is pretty solid, the group that I have now, for sure.
Now, the music was very unique. What we heard was extremely unique. How would you describe it?
Well, unfortunately, it's tough to describe. People like to slap your music into a nice little convenient box. Oh, that's hip-hop, that's reggae, that's soul, that's whatever, that's, you know, world music. Well, unfortunately, my music is everything. I love all types of music. I love all styles and all periods of music. I love klezmer, that Eastern European Jewish dance music. I love Roma, gypsy music. I love Greek music, Rebetica. I love salsa and funk and reggae and hip-hop. And I'm sure your viewers do too, and you probably do too, love all types of music. Why pick one style? Especially in this world, you know, like, we don't really live in little ghettos anymore of culture and style. My iTunes, there's thousands of different types of music from all periods of the history of music. So I don't choose. I come from a hip-hop generation where we sort of mush things together, and you sample things, and you take little bits and you put it together and you make it into a new style. So my style is made up of all those styles that I named. Little bits of it, the melodies, the rhythms, the sounds, old recordings, new rhythms, new lyrics, new melodies, and I'm not stuck in style. So unfortunately, we're a little bit too world music for pop people. We're a little bit too pop for world music people. It's too folk for them. It's too rap for... I don't care. I like all types of music. I try to make music that speaks to me and that brings together all my influences and all the music and styles that I love.
I have to tell you that just listening to you, I found that there was melody and harmony in your music, and that's enjoyable when you think of a lot of tunes that are out there that are actually quite noisy. I mean, I call it noise. I don't call it music. So,
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you compose and how you, what inspires you in terms of writing the music and the lyrics.
Woo. Well, I do think melody and ideas are important, and I sort of know what you mean about noise, but also you can find a lot of beautiful melody in the unlikeliest places in pop music, in sort of noisy, stupid, techno, noisy music. But I love traditional melodies, for instance. So I take a lot of inspiration from, I come from a Jewish family, a Jewish background. So I take inspiration from traditional Jewish melodies, which there's a very rich tradition of melody, and the importance of melody and of song and of certain combinations of notes that have a lot of power. So I listen to Hasidic music. I'm not a religious person, but I listen to religious music because music is a really powerful tool to connect people together. It's a way of praying. It's a way of sort of going into another state. So I take traditional melodies sometimes, but sometimes I compose my own melodies. Sometimes I steal from old records. I'll hear a great old tune and I'll try to sort of freshen it up and rework it, remix it, if you will. But every song basically has a different sort of evolution of how it comes to be. Like the song called People Watching, that's the title song of my new album, and it's like I wrote it for this guy Fred Wesley, who is he was James Brown's trombone player and arranger, and I've been lucky enough to work with him quite a bit. This guy Fred Wesley. So I sort of wrote him a song, and it's out of nowhere. It's like an original song. I came up with it. Cool. But then something like You Are Never Alone, which is like the closest thing to a hit that I ever had, is based on a Hasidic melody, a traditional melody that I gave to Katie Moore, who's basically a bluegrass country singer. So I gave her this melody, and she wrote a song about a cowboy with this traditional melody. So sometimes it's a bit of borrowed, a bit of old, a bit of new, and there's no rules. And because I'm sort of under the radar, shall we say, like I don't have much success, even though I've been at this for a long time and I've made a bunch of records and I have had little glimmers of like breaking out. Nobody really, like nobody's watching me. Like I'm not, so I can do whatever I want. I'm just always playing and experimenting.
You don't have to report to anyone,
That's
basically.
it. There's no boss.
Very good.
Yeah.
But your performance was very energetic, very uplifting. You had everybody out there dancing and getting up, and here we have Poopsie. Look at that. Also with the dog singing, that was unbelievable.
Sang, you saw that?
Poopsie, absolutely. I think everybody saw Poopsie on screen here singing at the concert. So how did you manage that?
Which part? The singing Poopsie?
You
know,
incredible.
I love Kurt Weill. You know the composer,
Yes,
Kurt Weill?
yes.
So I was learning a song called Lonely House, which is a brilliant Kurt Weill composition. And there's this chord in it that's sort of an extended C minor kind of 13 chord. And so I was learning the chord, and lo and behold, Poopsie stepped up to the piano and just like started howling to this chord. It's a real piano, so it's like vibrating, and I guess the vibrations were like making her go crazy. So she would come over, and whenever I played that chord, it got her to sing, right, Poopsie? Yeah. So it sort of developed. I was like, oh, cool, Poopsie likes to sing, cool. So then I sort of get her going with that chord, and then if you sort of lay down a funky rhythm and play the blues, then Poopsie's gonna freestyle and you know, bring her artistry to the table.
I was amazed that she didn't get up and jump from the bench. I mean, she just stayed there quietly.
Yeah, and there's hundreds of people. It's scary. It's loud, and I don't get it. It's pretty awesome. She is the best dog ever.
I think she takes after her owner, right?
I'm the best dog ever.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the ideas
What do you want to
that
know?
you...
What do you want to know?
Okay.
Lay it on me.
The ideas behind your songs.
Okay. Well, I keep a little book with me. Is it here? Yeah. I keep a little book. Okay, like this. This is actually volume 49. See?
Okay. Yeah.
And I draw on it. I write down ideas, and basically ideas. Unless I write them down, I'll forget. But you got to have a real idea, something that you think is worth talking about. It might be stupid, but if you write it down, at least you'll remember it. You can go look at it later. So I look through my books, and I see ideas. Oh, a song about this guy Richie. Okay, cool. And a song with a name in it. You know, like there's all these name songs.
What was the song about Richie? Tell us a little bit.
The song about Richie. There's a guy named Richie.
That was beautiful, by the way.
Cool, thank you. And actually, part of it is a Romanian melody. And then part of it is not. Part of it's an original melody. But the idea is the idea. And it's like, oh, I want to do a song about a name.
What is the idea of Richie?
The idea was this Richie guy, and it's a love story, and like, does it turn you on to make me feel bad, kind of. So like, so it came out of that. I mean, usually it comes out of real life and real life experiences and real feelings. On the new album, this People Watching, I saw Fred Wesley, who was hanging out with him, and he was like, we were sitting in the airport, and I said, Fred, why aren't you in the lounge? You know, you're a frequent flyer. You have elite status. He says, I like people watching. I like sitting out here around the people and watching them go by. I said, cool. I wrote it down on my book, People Watching. Write a song for Fred. So it comes from just life like that.
I also saw on the table. Yes. Yeah. I also saw on the table that you had cartoons and also these T-shirts with all these faces.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I also doodle. I have a lot of hobbies, you see.
I can tell.
And my hobbies have become my work, which is sort of a blessing and a curse, because the fun hobbies that I do just to be stupid and have fun like become things that are like, oh, we need a cartoon by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Oh, great. So now it's my work to draw a cartoon. Well, I draw cartoons. I'm a photographer. I make my music. I edit films. I do magic tricks. I have all these hobbies, fun things that I love to do. And so, I make puppets, and they sort of dribble into my professional life. So, this album, People Watching, I needed a cover. I doodled a bunch of people, and that's the cover of the record. And I draw cartoons, sort of stupid cartoons. You see them in my book, like puns, and they became a book of so-called cartoons. That became 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, 5 books.
The name So-Called. Tell us a little bit about that before we end our interview here.
So I was in high school. I had a stupid rapper name because I was into hip-hop, and I had a rap group, and it was Heavy J, okay? I was not heavy. So this rapper guy that I was working with started to call me So-Called Heavy J.
And it stuck.
And it stuck. We dropped the Heavy J part, and I just became So-Called. And it's been 20 years that I've been So-Called, making beats.
All right. So-Called, I think that it was wonderful to have you here, and I would like to say that I hope that you can come back to Toronto quickly and bring all your life, energy, and happiness.